If you've been following along, you've just seen some of the many templates available from Microsoft, but most of the time, you will find the need to create your own custom templates for yourself or to share with others. Word allows you to create templates in 3 different ways. 1, from a pre-existing document. 2, from an existing template, or from scratch based on Word's factory defaults. But it's not as straightforward as this. There are some gotchas in using some of these methods. Let me explain. Documents that have been converted from other applications such as WordPerfect or even older versions of Word often contain corruption. One version does not necessarily speak the same dialect as the other, and things get lost in translation. The part that is lost in translation may lead to document corruption. Believe it or not, even creating a template from a document created in the current version of Word can cause problems if it contains numbered paragraphs. The best practice when creating templates, most especially when creating templates that would be used by multiple users or even entire companies, is to create the template from scratch. Even this is trickier than it sounds, and let me show you what I mean. You would think that by creating a document from scratch means to start by opening a new document, by pressing Ctrl-N on your keyboard, or by going to File, New. But the new document is based upon a template called Normal, and being a template, the Normal has a great chance of becoming corrupt itself. By starting from scratch, I mean taking it down to Word's default factory settings. Watch as I demonstrate the difference. I'm going to change the default font to another font other than plus body. How about something funky like the Andy font? And I'll select Set as Default for all the documents that are based on the Normal template and click on OK. And now, when I type, you'll see this is the Andy font. When I create a new document and type Andy, of course this is based on Normal, all new documents going forward will be using this Andy font. Now, if I go to File, File, New, and I select Blank Document and click on Create, it's still using the Normal template. But if I go to File, New, My Templates, Blank Document, and select Create New Template, watch the difference. I'm going to click on OK now. It's no longer using the Andy font. It's now using Calorie Body. So it's back to the factory default settings from Word. This gets around using the Normal template and all of its customizations. So if it did contain corruption, you can avoid this. If you have to use a pre-existing document as a template, or you know that the document is clean and has no corruption, you can use it as a template. Let's open our exercise file. I'll go to File, and then Open, and open our Creating Your Own Template exercise file. To save this, instead of as a document, as a template to be able to use it over and over again, we're going to go to File, Save As, and where it says Save as Type instead of Word Document, I can simply change this to a Word template. If it's going to contain macros, make sure you select instead Word Macro Enabled Template. One other option here is to save it as a Word 97 2003 template. So if you need to save it down to another version as a .dot file, you can choose that option. Another thing that's very important is where you're going to save this. So I'm going to go ahead and choose Word Macro Enabled Template, and then it's by default still trying to save back to our exercise files folder. This is not going to show up, and let me just kind of cancel and show you. If I go to File, New, and My Templates, it won't show up in this box if I save it underneath of my exercise files. It has to be stored in a certain location, and that certain location is wherever your user templates are being stored. If I go to File and then Options, and then go to Advanced, and down at the bottom, File Locations, and you'll see in here, User Templates. Click on Modify, and you can see the full path of where your user templates live. Mine's underneath of Templates, Microsoft Roaming. Above that is App Data, my name, users, and it's on the C drive. So that's the long path here of where my template actually lives. Now I'm going to cancel this, and we'll go back to saving this. So I'll go to File, Save As. I'll change it to a Word macro enabled template, and I'm going to browse to that particular file location. I need to go to C, Users, My Name, App Data, Roaming, Microsoft, and Templates. Notice that this is where your normal template is also being saved. I'll just call this Creating Your Own Templates. Click on Save. And now if I go to a new document, just so you can see I'm not in it anymore, and go to File, New, My Templates, here it is right here, Creating Your Own Templates. If you're working in Word 2007, to get to File Locations, go to the Office button, Word Options, Advanced, and you'll see File Locations. If you scroll all the way down to the very bottom, underneath of the General area, here's File Locations. The best practice when creating your own templates, especially if you will be sharing with others, is to start from scratch using Word's factory default settings instead of basing it upon an existing document or template. If you know the document's history and are sure there is no chance of corruption, even from the normal template, you can simply save the document as a template or macro-enabled document. Next, let's get to the good stuff by creating some power-packed templates of our own that contain macros, building blocks, document property fields, and many other features.